Hi everybody, this is Matt from Under the Covers Music. Today I wanted to talk about this question, when is a D minor 7 not a D minor 7? And this was sparked by playing along to one of my favorite Coldplay tunes, which is The Scientist. The band's sort of been top of mind as of late. If you're watching this back, you have to go Google what happened in the summer of 2025 at a Coldplay concert. But I digress. When I look at The Scientist, here's a basic sort of 4-chord structure that we're looking at. This is the chord that I wanted to talk about. We're on a capo 3, so that B minor actually becomes a D minor 7, right? And I think what you'll notice when you look at chord progressions for this tune, you'll see most of them have a D minor 7 or the equivalent, whatever key they're writing in, but some of them just put an F chord. You think, well, F and D minor 7 seem sort of pretty far apart, but when you look at them, they're actually not as far apart as you might think. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So again, answering the question, when is a D minor 7 not a D minor 7? Well, when it's an F, or when it's an F6, or an F over D, officially, I guess. Sounds remarkably like that D minor 7, right? So when we look at the notes, we sort of see why this is the way it is when we look at how it's constructed. So we look at this D minor 7, the notes in a D minor 7 chord are a D, an F, an A, and a C. Turns out an F6 chord has those same notes, just jumbled up in sort of a different direction, with the F, the A, the C, and then the D. And again, if we just eliminate that D off of there, then we get a pretty clean F chord. So now it's not exactly the same sort of structure and function as that D minor 7, but it's all within that chord structure. So what you'll often see is beginning guitar students and videos and tabs that are made for beginners will oftentimes replace some of these more difficult chord structures, chord types, with something that is close but not exactly the same. This is a perfect example of sometimes when you'll see instead of that D minor 7 written, you'll see that F written instead. And you can do this with most 7th chords. As you'll see here, if you take a minor 7 chord, for instance an A minor 7, chop off that A at the beginning, then you get a C chord, right? You take a C major 7, which is that C, E, G, and B, same thing, chop off the C, and we come up with an E minor. Take a 7th chord, a dominant 7th chord, and chop it all off, then we get sort of this diminished chord. But in all these cases, you can take the root off and come up with sort of a more conventional triad chord. Doesn't necessarily mean it's better, and it probably doesn't fit the harmonic function the same way that the original chord does, but it's why you'll see some swapping back and forth along the way. I'll point out one more example. This is from Best of My Love by the Eagles, and this is a really good example. We get to sort of that end. We tried to talk it over. Goes up to that F, too rough, but you can also go back down to the D minor 7. Talk it over, but the words come out too rough. Because that D minor 7 and that F have that equivalence based on the notes that are contained within it. So again, just a quick look at ways that you can use some similarities and differences in your play. I'll leave you with this. Let's take this progression up here, right? And we'll take this C, E minor, B diminished. It's the triads, right? We know this. Let's flip up with some of those 7 chords. So let's take all those 7th chords and replace the triads with the 7th chords and see what it does to the progression. We'll go to the A minor 7. Back to the C there. So it's a really good example of being able to mix and match some of those things based on what you're writing and based on what you're doing, and then also being able to take things that already exist and manipulate them for what makes sense for you as an artist and as a guitar player. I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye.